She's the first Puerto Rican woman elected to the House of Representatives. She's back here with me. And as a reminder, the last time we spoke, I think it's also important to point out once again, Congresswoman Maria made landfall right near your hometown. You have family there. I'm looking at these images of the President and the First Lady making their way. They land in Puerto Rico. What do you want the President to see while he's on the ground today?
Well, I would like for him to travel to the most remote areas so that he can see firsthand the vast devastation that has taken place in Puerto Rico. And this will give him an opportunity to really focus on a strong response and a commitment from the federal government of providing the resources that the people of Puerto Rico, resilient American citizens, can do in order to rebuild Puerto Rico.
Well, Congresswoman, what is your assessment? You had been on the island right after the hurricane. You have family on the island. What is your assessment? The president kind of gave himself a grade this morning as he was heading onto Marine One. Control room, if you need to tell me something, you need to repeat yourself. But can you give me your assessment of how the recovery is going on the ground right now? You were not satisfied when we last spoke. Are you more satisfied now with the federal response?
No, I'm not. First of all, they are playing catch-up because of the many days where we really didn't see a relief operation in place, given the magnitude of the disaster. I was just now meeting with federal officials from FEMA and SBA at the office of Nancy Pelosi, and we continue to raise the issue of the disconnect that exists between the manpower that is there, the fact that this is an island sitting in a big ocean, and it's not very easy to provide the diesel that they need, and then transporting the diesel and the fuel to some of the remote areas so that we can keep those hospitals providing the services and attending the needs of the people that are ill.
Congresswoman, I want to also play for you. I'm not sure if you heard it. Here was one of the messages that came from President Trump as he was heading down to Puerto Rico today. Listen to this. We don't have that soundbite. I will read it to you, though. He said, and asked about the response on the ground, he said, we need their truck drivers. So at a local level, they need to give us more help. I think now we do have the soundbite. Let's try again.
Their drivers have to start driving trucks. We have to do that. So at a local level, they have to give us more help.
On a local level, they have to give us more help. Do you agree, Congresswoman?
Totally disagree with the president. By listening to that statement, it shows me the disconnect that exists between the president understanding of the level of destruction and devastation. We don't have the power grid. How could people get, and telecommunication towers are down? How is it that truck drivers will get the information as to the need for them to show up? Then what we have in Puerto Rico right now is that most of these, the people there are in a mode of surviving and attending to their families. Many of the bridges were swept away. Many of the roads still are obstructed. Right. They can't drive, they don't have fuel, there is no gasoline. So that disconnect, this is why we need it, given the fact that it's an island, that it's not like Texas, that you could bring truck drivers from other states. So we needed a larger presence in a proactive way prior to the storm hitting Puerto Rico, and then after the storm made landfall, we needed to have that
one of the things that's now playing out is, well, at least over the weekend, and we'll see what happens into today, is the president's criticism of San Juan's mayor and her response, I guess, if you will, and her criticism of him over the weekend. You were very angry over the president's criticism of the San Juan mayor. You called his tweets outrageous and unpresidential when he pointed to such poor leadership on the part of the mayor. What do you say today? They extended an invitation. She's likely to be meeting with him today.
Of course, this is about the people of Puerto Rico. This is not about the mayor, and this is not about the president. This is about a lack of response, comprehensive response, having all the steps that were needed, knowingly that it was a hurricane category 5 or 4. So the lack of response and preparation prior to that storm making landfall was not the responsibility of the government of Puerto Rico nor the mayor of San Juan.
Do you think that the back and forth, or the bad blood, if you will, between the president and the mayor, do you think that that is hampering response?
Look, we need to move forward, and I hope that this visit will help the president keep focused on the work at hand. We need to make the people of Puerto Rico whole again, American citizens, and we need to hear, the people of Puerto Rico needs to hear that this president is as committed as President Bush. When President Bush visited New Orleans, he said, we're going to rebuild New Orleans better than it was. That is what we expect to hear from our president, that he is committed to rebuild Puerto Rico better than it was.
And finally, I do want to just check in with you. Last time we spoke, you hadn't been able to get in touch with some of your family in Puerto Rico. How is your family doing?
Well, not too well. This is taking an emotional toll on them. For a whole 7 days, I didn't hear from my sister, and I was really concerned. I learned yesterday that the tower that she was using in the highway to connect is not there, it's not working anymore. So now she has to travel an hour and 20 minutes to be able to make a phone call.
Nydia Velázquez, thank you so much for coming on. We wish your family the very best as they are part of the large and long road to recovery in Puerto Rico. And we all wait to see what the president will say today as he is in Puerto Rico for the first time in the aftermath. Thank you.